of our first and second graders, and we had a super sleepover. And part of that is they have prepared a skit to tell you guys our Bible story for today. So we're going to do that in a minute. But before we do that skit, I want you to know some details that are a little bit different in this story than in how we might think about things today. So there's a word, our story is a parable, and it is about a bridegroom. Well, bridegroom is not really a word that we use very often anymore. We usually talk about the bride or the groom. So do you think we're going to vote? No fair purple shirts. Do you think that the bridegroom is the boy or the girl? All right. No purple shirts. You guys already know. All right. Raise your hand if you think the bridegroom is the bride. Raise your hand if you think the bridegroom is the groom. Or if you're not sure. Well, it's the groom. It's talking about the man. And different than how it is today, the bridesmaids actually didn't hang out with the bride like they do today. The bridesmaids went with the groom. I know, right? So weird. And today, bridesmaids usually carry flowers, but back then they carried lamps. Now, those lamps would have been used to hold up, to shine light on the bridegroom and show off maybe his very nice looking clothes, or to help lead him to be able to go and find the bride. Well, the kind of lamps that we're going to use today, can I hold this one? Are symbolic. Now, this is not what the lamps would have looked like back then. This is a lovely battery-operated lamp, but they would have been using a lamp that looked more like this. This is an oil lamp. It's made out of clay, and they would have held it in their hand, and in the middle was something called a wick. Now, a wick was made out of linen or papyrus, and the wick did not burn. Instead, it would soak up oil, and the oil would burn. But if your wick got too tall, then it would burn and you would have to trim it. But if you kept your wick very low, it wouldn't burn. But what do you all think would happen when the oil all ran out?
It would stop. You have to light it. The flame would go out.
The flame would go out because the oil, it's okay, the oil is the fuel that makes it work. And so if you ran out of oil, then your flame would go out. These are all important pieces of our story today, because what we're going to see is that some of the bridesmaids brought extra oil and some of them didn't. That's right. So some of them had to go back to the store and buy some more at the dealers of oil. So you're actually going to meet those dealers in our skit. Now, this story is comparing the bridegroom to Jesus. It's saying that we need to be ready. We need to have all that we need. And it's not enough to just be sort of ready. We've got to be all the way prepared. And so we need to be sure that our lives are filled with ways that we can show and shine Christ's light in the world to let others be ready to meet Christ too. So I am going to invite everybody who's not in the skit to sit on this first row or on the floor right there so you guys have a good view. And I'm going to invite all of our skit leaders to get into place with their props.
Matthew 25, 1 through 13, the parable of the 10 bridesmaids. Then the kingdom of heaven will be like this. 10 young women took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish, and 5 were wise.
When the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them.
But the wise took flasks of oil with their lamps. The bridegroom was delayed. All of them became drowsy and slept. But at midnight there was a shout.
Look, here is the bridegroom. Come out to meet him.
Then all those young women got up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out."
But the wise replied, "No, there will not be enough for you and us. You better go to the dealers and buy some for yourself."
And while they went to buy it, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went with them into the wedding banquet, and the door was shut.
Later, other young women came also saying, "Lord, Lord, open to us."
But he replied, "Truly, I tell you, I don't know you. Keep away." But therefore you know neither the day or the hour.
This is the gospel of Jesus Christ. Thanks be to God.